it's just uniforms. But I will say it was an interesting day yesterday, from the leaks to Cal having to go on Reddit and unveil it, to now you're in a situation where, and if you're just tuning in, here's the summary of what happened. The Texans showed their uniforms last week. They basically said, no one say anything. We're going to try to hype this up for a month and a half, and don't take any pictures, don't use your phones, whatever. Well, picture leaks of one of the models and one of the four uniforms.
We couldn't take our phones in.
Yeah. And it immediately draws reaction because the model does not look like Nico Collins and Tank Dell doing this uniform. It does it no service. It was a funny process all to begin with. So with this uniform picture leaked, Cal McNair smartly decides, hey, let's just put the new picture on Reddit. We'll put it on the Texans' Twitter, and now you get 25% of a view of your new uniforms.
Yeah.
Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
Hell of an adjustment, hell of a pivot. What are you – I mean, but go ahead.
I got thoughts. First of all, that poor sumbitch, that number 24 –
They were all number 24. Remember?
Well, yeah, but that guy, that poor guy, I mean, he's ruined. like he's ruined because he looks like all the models look like they got him out of the Ross parking lot. Like they were searching for some throwback, Earl Campbell jerseys or something, and they got him out of there.
I said it this way: if those models went in an NFL locker room, the Texans locker room, Kiami Fairbairn would be giving them wedgies and making them carry his pads.
Yeah, but let's get to what the bigger story is here. Who's the dummy that planned this whole thing? Not to point fingers, but I'm pointing a finger. Like, is there any way in your mind? And again, it's just uniforms.
It's just uniforms. It's all fun. It is funny though,
but it is hilarious. And did they hire Jack Easterby as a consultant for a day? Like that. I caught a real Jack Easterby vibe. I thought only he could screw the pooch like they screwed the pooch on this one. Like they absolutely did. In what world did you think a sneak peek, reveal that no one could talk about was going to be a good idea? And in what world, certainly not this one, did you not think that a picture was going to get out? Like you're my witness. We're walking into the place.
No, you said there's a 0% chance that this doesn't get leaked.
We're walking into the place, and I'm telling you and Figgy and Sean, after they wand us to make sure there's no other phones, they take our phones, put them in a bag. We signed it. Well, I guess I can say that. We signed an affidavit, non-disclosure or whatever, to make sure we wouldn't say anything. And I'm walking into that place, and I turn to you, Sean, and Figgy, and I say, there is a 0% chance that a picture of this is not going to get leaked.
Then they showed it to fans after.
And then they showed this fan council.
And that was going.
This fan
crazy.
council.
I'm a part of the fan council.
Kind of. There was a 0% chance, and sure enough, yesterday after we got off the air, this poor son bitch, this picture of him comes out, and they get destroyed.
And then they showed the new one. So
then Cal was the only one with the brain in his head over there yesterday. Now, I'm sure maybe others thought of this as well, but Cal putting that on Reddit kind of mitigated some of the pushback and the criticism and all that. But the whole thing...
It's just uniforms, though, right?
It's just uniforms. But the whole thing was...
But it's hilarious.
Bungled.
It's hilarious.
Absolutely bungled.
Well, the other thing for me, and I'm pulling back the curtain a little bit, Landry Locker, John Lopez, Figgy Fig with you, is... What day was this?
I believe it was a Wednesday. Thursday. Yeah,
Thursday. What time?
4:45.
4:45.
Okay,
yeah.
where at?
The Post.
So it was downtown.
Yeah.
At 5 o'clock.
Yeah. That's after a press conference and 2 hours before.
Yeah, 2 hours after a press conference where they introduced the two big free agent signings
at NRG.
So the beat writers had to drive all the way from the press conference. They probably got stuff to write, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming.
Well, I was talking to GJ. He got there late because he said he was writing.
Yeah, I mean, they have to write. They go to the Post.
Free agency was going crazy, too, around that time.
You're stuck in downtown traffic.
Yeah.
Why not just do it at NRG on Monday after the rodeo?
Was going on.
How about after the rodeo?
Well, that too.
You wait 5 days after the rodeo, we can do it at NRG.
Yeah. And look, it's just so frustrating because it was it was transparent to try to use the media and this fan council like, hey, you guys. And then there's that part, too. And you alluded to it with Sean and Seth. Like, you're telling us and the fan council, all right, so here's the sneak peek. Hope it all works out. We're going to announce it on April 23rd, which I'll get to that in a minute as well. But you can't say anything about the uniforms. They just wanted us to hey, man, these uniforms are basically be in PR as well, which that's fine. I get it. You give and take. But it got to the point where no one said anything. The only people who spoke were those who said, yeah, I saw them, to kind of show off or whatever. And now you got to wait. Now there's these two pictures out. The one that Cal sent, thankfully.
So
God.
Are they going to drop these on the 23rd now?
I hope they do not.
Are they going to wait till April 23rd now?
No, I hope they do not. That is practically, it's more than a month away, right?
Yeah, and plus the draft, you don't have first-round picks. So
yeah, but here's what they need to do. Football is about adjustments, right? You bungled this. Now, I do want to say this. Somebody messed up big time. But by and large, and I said this when we were walking in too, I'm not going to torch these uniforms. I'm going to let fans decide because these.
But you can talk about the ones they showed.
Yeah, I'm going to talk
about those.
I'll get to that too. I'm going to show you, get to that. But I said these people worked so hard. They put so much into this.
No doubt.
Well, salute to the Texans, starting at the very top with Cal and Hannah, and then they brought in Doug Vosick, and this was his baby. But someone screwed this up. Like there was no way they thought this would work. I mean, well, they did, but there's no way they should have thought.
Is there a chance they leaked it on purpose?
No, zero. I mean, look what they leaked. Look what they leaked.
Are we just all being played a
This
fool?
might be part of the plan.
Is this part of the plan? Well, and it's hip, and you released it on Reddit, so you look good. Could this be part of a master plan?
If you're on YouTube, I'm rolling my eyes because.
What if it's just a master plan?
Well, then they bungled it even more than I thought. If they did this on purpose, because already, and the reason that they need to move.
I think they should release one a week at this point. You got one next week. We're gonna do the next one. I think you should do one a week at this point.
I think Cal should release a picture, not the whole uniform, every couple of days. And the reason for that is Cal started this, and thankfully he did, because it would have been if they ignored it. It would have been an even bigger disaster. But if he does one every couple of days, all of a sudden you're going to get opinions and popularity or not. But maybe the uniforms are going to be real popular as you go along. And they need to just completely trash that April 23rd thing. They need to just trash that.
Well, because you're 25% leaked, right?
And it's a month. It's over a month away.
Yeah.
Leak one every couple of days, and then move up to next week or the week after the big reveal or whatever. Because this was, I don't know who it was, and if you think I'm picking on you, I'm not picking on you. I'm just telling you the obvious. You screwed this up. You screwed this up from the start. There's no way they could have thought this was going to work. Some bozo like me's walking in telling you guys 0% chance this doesn't get out. 0. And you knew it was going to happen. In today's world, and then that uniform. By the way,
what was with the models, man? Can we just address that real quick? Because that was the weirdest thing for me. Because my whole thing was, and they were actually, I think they were actually filming reaction. Mm-hmm. If someone's out there, can you get the reaction when they walked out? I was laughing. No, I'm dead serious.
I know you were.
I was cracking up.
Yeah,
I was tickled because they bring out these models and they're in shape. I'm not sitting here saying that they brought out, the dad that wore that Florida jersey. On the recruiting trip, but they brought out 4 models who you wouldn't even be allowed to wear those in an NFL game. The guy was wearing tube socks and a Abercrombie and Fitch early 2000s necklace.
He said he had a shell necklace.
Dude, he did. and they're coming out there, and it's not even they're not even wearing it the way that it's allowed to be worn on an NFL football field.
Yeah,
and. You could just taken a tarp off of some mannequins.
The mannequins were fine.
Yeah, the mannequins look better than that, but that was my first look, and I was just sitting there
yeah.
Man, they look like they played for Bishop Sycamore, man.
A texter on YouTube says, I think this white uniform thing is a red herring. It is not. Okay? It is not a red herring. I can tell you that much. We saw them. That was one of the ones we saw, and we can talk about that uniform in itself. Yes, it does look a lot like an Atlanta Falcons uniform, but there are differences. There are some differences.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It looks a lot like that.
That is a new blue.
That is they're going to call it, I believe, the same. They're going to call it deep steel blue, but
Okay.
it's very deep.
Well,
It's very deep.
some people thought it was black.
It is very, very close
They
to
say
black.
it's a midnight blue.
It is very, very close to black.
Some people would say it looks a little black.
I'm
but-
wondering if it's going to look a little bluer in the sunlight, but we won't know that for a while. No, like the whole thing, I'm just fascinated by it.
I'm fascinated by your fascination.
Because, like, how do you do this? A billion-dollar company that puts so many resources.
The good thing is, what matters the most is under control.
Yes, yeah, the team.
What matters
team.
the most is under control. Like if you look at, let's think about it this way. From a football perspective, when it comes to drafting, free agency, and anything, Cal McNair he could turn his phone off.
Yeah.
Nick Caserio, D'Amico, they got that on lock. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, that's what's going to be what matters the most. Mm-hmm. When it comes to game day atmosphere, they got that on lock. They've improved that. I think they're top third in the league now.
Yeah.
And there's only one way to go. That's
Players. Remember the NFLPA?
Right.
The survey?
Yeah.
This is the players regard this as a top organization. All that's true.
From a PR perspective as well, they've handled everything perfectly.
Yes, they have, except this. So, and that's why
I don't know if this. I don't know about this.
That's why I was catching an Easterby vibe. This had all the markings of Jack Easterby doing this, and so I'm walking away. I'm watching yesterday all the reaction.
Why you got to bring him up?
Because it felt like it. Did it not? It absolutely did.
I mean, if Jack Easterby were going to unveil uniforms, I would imagine it going like this.
Yes,
That's fair.
And so my big point on this is, this was your plan. This was the plan. Like, there's no way that it was executed even close to how it should have been. And why are you doing this sneak peek? And telling people you can't say anything. Because all that's happening is people just clamming up, fans clamoring for it.
McClain called 40 minutes after.
40 minutes after. And then the other thing that's happening here that I think was maybe a bit of a mistake is the buildup has been for more than a year, practically a year and
that's
a half.
my thing. I don't know that there's ever been a uniform in the history of the world, unless there's no colors and no logo.
Yeah.
If the Texans had just arrived in town and you're unveiling it, then there would be that. But I don't know that any uniform in the history of the world could live up to the hype that they've attempted to instill on these.
Well, the thing is,
it's kind of a tough spot.
yes, and you could have done that differently as well. See, the old adage of under promise, over deliver. Well, they're over promising and under delivering, and that's what is fascinating, and it kind of tickles me.
There's a lot of they leaked the photo stuff going on.
No way they did. No,
They leaked it because they don't have a first-round pick, so they're just bringing a buzz for people.
No. I can tell you with authority that is not what happened.
The best thing about the leak for me, and I am glad that we can say something about it. The best thing for me was first of all, the model speaks for itself. That dude's an effing legend. But the best thing for me was that people were saying, "Nah, there's no way those are the uniforms."
Oh, when it first came out?
Yeah, those don't even look like real Nike NFL jerseys. No way.
Those got to be fake.
Yeah.
They got to be fake.
I saw somebody said, look at all the pixels on this one picture. You can tell it was Photoshopped. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But then here's the other thing, real quick, on the year and a half buildup. Not only are you over-promising and under-delivering, you teased a lot the H-Town blue. So what are fans expecting? They're expecting the H-Town blue. Now, I'm not going to say one way or the other because I signed that affidavit, what the gist of the H-Town blue is, but just when you're making this announcement, understand that that's what's expected.
Okay. There's one thing that they effed up that I can say based on these jerseys, and I think they effed up. They said they were listening, and they said we were going to listen to people who didn't want change and wanted tradition. We were going to listen to people who wanted, whatever color. The one thing they effed up, because I think this has the highest approval rating of anything that the Texans have done in the last couple of years. The red helmet should be the main helmet. Period. Point blank. End of story. It should not. It should be the main helmet for every single jersey. The red helmet. Period. point blank, end of story. You can keep the traditional logo. I don't know, like, how much were you really listening? Because I don't know that I saw 5 people total say that they didn't love the red helmet. Even the traditionalists love the red helmet. So the fact that the red helmet is not the helmet that you wear all the time, I think they screwed up.
Again, not to expose anything that we were privy to.
The red helmet was loved.
But I will say this. The discussion that was had walking out of that place was about red helmet and white helmet. And you know, whether or not this was going to be a part of it in the future. Like, I'll just say this again. Like, who put this together? Who put this together? Because it was screwed up from the moment you decided to start teasing it for a year and a half to, let's go through everything.
So how would you handle this?
Well, let's do it this. Let me lay out what happened, then I'll tell you how I would have handled it. They teased it for a year and a half and built up expectations. So by default, almost, you're going to overpromise, and people are going to expect that. Secondly, the whole fan council and media sneak peek without being able to say anything about them and thinking that it's going to turn into a big PR juggernaut. Third, the models and how you did it. Fourth, how the hell do you think that this is not going to be leaked? Like, I said it walking in. There's no way, 0% chance this is not going to be leaked. How did you not realize that in today's world? And 5, the whole plan build up a month and a half after it's already out there in some people's minds.
Yeah.
You got to move that up.